palm trees, ocean breeze, paradise, Roll up that purple, we bout to get high tonight. Feed me that pussy, I got a big appetite. Beat up that kitty like we done just had a fight. He know what he want, but he don't know what you like. He on the lights tonight, I'm enjoying the sights. Look me in my eyes, I got deep inside. She lights up my life, I only see her at night. But I only see her at night. I think she's sexy. I think she's smart. Only if she let me in the heart. We be listening to Jordan, she rolling weed at my spot. Holding blood while you hold me, I hope we get to the top. Said I hope we get to the top. Me and you. Roll up that purple, we bout to get out of night. Feed me that pussy, I got a big appetite. Coming in naked, we bout to make love tonight. Tell me what you want and I'ma show you that it's right. Anywhere that we go, you know we in paradise. You been in the dark, let me show you to the light. Baby, don't look down, I hope you ain't afraid of heights. Turn down all the music, cause I wanna hear you quiet. Look me in the eyes and tell me no lie. Baby, tell me no lie. I think she's sexy. I think she's smart. Only if she'll let me in her heart. We be listening to Jordan, she rolling weed at my spot. Peace, everyone. Peace. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Today's video is it's a daily energy reading, but the vibration for this daily energy reading is that of a topic. So this is nothing different from any other daily energy reading. It's just the title of the videos are a little different. Just trying different things. I hate being redundant, like daily energy reading. It's obvious when I post early in the morning and it's a daily energy reading. All you need to really concentrate on is the title, because the title is important. In the world or in conversation, you always hear this term empath, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's an empath and things of that nature, and some people use it as an excuse to shield themselves from reality, shield themselves from people. Peace to everybody on the live. I love all of y'all. Like, all of y'all is my friends and crazy. But you know, that's a level of empathy that I possess where I'm deeply connected to a few people. I can't say a lot of people, like, you know, millions. Well, I don't really know the actual number, but the love that I have for individuals is purely empathic, meaning that I feel them and they feel me. You know, every time when I'm feeling low, I always get a text or an email or a phone call or, you know, a comment, you know, I love what you're doing. Don't give up, you know. And for real, that's true empathy. That's really like, what are they telling me not to give up for? Is sometimes I like, give up what, you know. But it's really a purpose to everything that we're doing. And sometimes you don't see that purpose within the moment, but it is something that you're working towards. within the moment. I don't know if that made sense, but uh, each moment is different, and we're collectively working towards something, and we just have to continuously rise up this energy and speak to it. And another thing that I want to talk to before I talk about the astrology is that when you deal with your empathic energy, your energy where you can feel where other people is coming from, you're not trying to threaten anyone's existence. You're not trying to scare anyone, but in essence, the fact that you can pick up on what they're feeling, you are now a threat. You are now an enemy, and they will treat you as such. As long as you talk to people like love and light, let me give you, some dap. Let me give you positive and like positive praise, and anything positive. People will be like, that's a cool guy. I like him or I like her because she's always positive. She's always making me feel better. But then when you start to pick up on their inner thoughts and their inner workings, you might do different things and say different things. People want their thoughts to be hidden from the world, and when you can pick up on that, it's like, uh-oh, time to get rid of this person. So be mindful of that too. And so the overall idea that we want to work with going forward with understanding empathy and how it could be used to our benefit is attachment versus connection. An attachment is something that you've aligned yourself with that does not benefit you, and since you are attached to it, it's like it's still good. A connection is something that is spiritually meant for you, that will lift you up and raise you up to the highest levels. An attachment is something that we usually find ourselves in when we're in relationships or with different people in our family, pure attachments. So therefore, when it comes to being an empath, you're picking up on what you're attached to, and you're kind of misusing the energy or misusing your personage with being an empathic person, because you're constantly feeding off that which you are attached to and not feeding off that which you are connected to. So let's deal with this astrology. I hope that makes sense. But also, we do have the notes available for people to get added to. You have to have the Google Keep app on your phone. It's free to download. But what I would do is I will fill up the document till it gets full, and then I'm gonna wipe it off, and I'm gonna start again. So if you do have access to the notepad that you have to hit me up via email to get added to, uh, you need to still take your own notes. Don't just be like, oh, I'm added to your notes, and now I can just rely on you to take notes. Like, you still have to take notes, even though I'm giving you access to the notes that we're talking about on this video, because at a certain point I will wipe them all off. So within the notes are different links to videos and added bonuses to what I'm talking about, and it's more or less for you to understand this information for yourself. Maybe there are certain words and different things that you want to Google or get books on, so you can really study. Understand that I'm doing a YouTube video, so there isn't much that I can do within a specific time frame except alert and direct you to different particular information. Um, and also, me being on YouTube is not for the mere fact of entertainment, it's for the mere fact of information. So, therefore, if you are a passive listener, this channel is going to get real old real quick, because it's really not about the things that I'm saying. It's really about you being in tune with what's actually happening in the real world. This is news for your soul. So, the the astrology that we're going to talk about today is specifically Mercury and Ophiuchus and Uranus and Pisces. It's interesting, if you've been following this channel, a lot of the information that I've been discussing has been that of the ancient goddess. And Mercury in Ophiuchus, today is the last day that Mercury spends time in this space of Ophiuchus. Now, when you deal with Mercury, you deal with Mercury as the ancient god that it is, or the ancient representation of commerce, the ancient representation of trade. And you understand that this energy being in Ophiuchus is really connecting you to the real roots to how you could actually survive moving in 2019, and maybe not survive but for sure thrive. And the beauty of seeking a connected a collective or a group of people that you all have a common goal. And this is so beautiful to experience because it's not really simply about you and your personal ambitions. It's more to do with the collective and what gifts can you bring to the collective. And therefore, it's not just simply on you so much. It's more or less like, and so what's the trouble with Mercury and Ophiuchus? The trouble in Mercury and Ophiuchus is you live in a life where you're completely reliant on yourself for everything. And then you still want to be successful, you still want to have goals, but you don't even got a babysit. You don't even have, time. You're doing too much. And so therefore, when this energy comes online, it will make you rethink your current situation in the terms of your spiritual goals and your spiritual values, and see how these things link up. And these aren't the best days at work. These aren't the best times doing monotonous things because there's Mercury transits the ancient goddess, you know. Mercury transits your feminine power. You have all of these ideas on how you really could boss up and you really could take over. But are you actually really doing that? And trust me, I'm not even talking to nobody in particular because all of the work that I do, you know, what really saddens me or what really bothers me about it is that I do a lot of things by myself. And not to say like I'm tired of doing things by myself. It would just be so awesome to do something like this with a team of people, like that could take care of a lot of different things, and then I could just focus on what I do best. And so not being in that situation creates a particular tension or creates a particular goal of something that I want to work to. Like, man, maybe I just want a whole team of people that, it doesn't have to be the hood mystic. It could be the hood mystics or, whatever, and that's really how empathy really raises up and you develop it, because it doesn't just become something that you're protecting yourself from. It becomes something that you could align yourself with and really focus on, like, okay, we all can do this thing together. And so if you've been experiencing this, if you're touched by this energy in some way, you need to really take some time out and really use this solar eclipse energy to really focus on that what you want. Like, I don't have no clue on this team, what this team looks like, where this team is at. But in my mind, I can feel it, I can project it, I can, wish for it, I can visualize it, I can focus on it. This is something that would make my life beautifully, or make my life beautiful, I should say. And so that's just me. But of course, we all have our dreams and our goals. And I say my dreams and my goals just because I don't want you to be afraid to dream or to have goals outside of yourself, outside of your reality. It is okay. It is okay to want other things, to want bigger things. And so that's kind of what this energy is literally nudging you. And if it ain't nudging you, it's pushing you. And if it ain't pushing you, it's kicking you dead square in the ass to change your reality and understand that potential don't mean shit. Just because you sang real good in the 12th grade and everybody was like, oh, that's that singer girl. And you probably it's a lot of 30-year-old, 40-year-olds that live off their high school fame, they high school reputation. They really still think that they're in that reality and those same rules apply. Like, you still most beautiful girl in the class and you 44, like, you ain't that hot no more and it's okay. But you know what I'm saying? Not dissing, but there's a lot of guys that you think that you is the the you the high school football player of the week for football, and you 48, and it's like you still playing semi pro and getting your leg broke every other weekend because you can't let go of that high school reality. So it's something that needs to. Exactly. Whatever whatever high school that you was the shit in, you still probably living in that, and you got to get out of that potential and more into the reality and seeing really who you really are in the moment. And then from there, kind of, what are you going to work towards? What are you down here for? You're not down here to fucking watch new Netflix shows, even though Netflix shows are awesome sometimes. I just watched that Bandersnatch and that shit was dope. We could talk about that after, because I will open this up for questions after I get through with this build, but stay tuned for that. But ultimately, real potential energy is an illusion if you do not act upon it. So it's not to say that things won't happen. They won't happen if you don't act upon it. If you create this idea and you don't act upon this idea, then it's just simply an idea. And so, therefore, when it comes to empathy, you have to really understand that if you really want to accomplish something worth accomplishing, besides 15 minutes of fame, you got to really move as a team and move strategic, and you got to make sure that you're moving with people that psychologically sound. And the reason how you know if the people that you're moving with is psychologically sound is if you're psychologically sound and understand that water always seeks its own level. So if you find yourself surrounded by crazy people, broke people, ugly people, wherever, take a look in the mirror, do some self work about yourself, and then ultimately your surroundings will definitely change. It's so easy for you to subject and object or to put everything off on other people, like, they this, and man, I get so tired of people talking about what they doing, what she doing, what he doing, and I'm like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing together? Oh, nothing? Okay, cool. I really don't want to talk. So lately I've been really about, my business, my family, and, working together. And so therefore, because that's what I'm kind of trying to do. It's like, it's really not no fun having people be like, oh, I like you or you're awesome or whatever the case may be, but then like they go on to their own path and things of that nature. It's like, well, that doesn't really satisfy me to have a million people to be like, oh, I like you and things of that nature. But it's like, you rather find 10 good people that you could work with that, y'all could all work on, y'all could all have gifts and bring y'all gifts to the table and all work for something larger to yourselves. That to me is way more awesome than individually being the shit. And so I think to me, this is a transformation in perspective and how to move forward with this solar eclipse energy. Because, like I said, if you haven't watched that solar eclipse video, it is an opportunity to project our wildest fantasies onto the ethers. So, therefore, maybe when I did the video, I would have projected like you know, uh, um, you know, I'm trying to think of something that's like not too X-rated to say, because I was gonna say something real crazy, but you know, I was going to think of something sexual or something real crazy to project into the world, but now, by studying the astrology and really getting in depth with it, I'm really realizing that okay, I can really focus and highlight something that I really, really, really want and not and be responsible about it because we're still dealing with the mature energy of Sagittarius or Capricorn, or however you choose to look at it, is still much of a serious energy. And especially with the sun conjunct Saturn and all of that. So here we are with a time to really awaken the responsibilities to the collective. And what exactly is your collective? What exactly is your tribe? You know, is your tribe something that's important to think about, or is your tribe just an idea that you just fantasize about? And what energy are you actually exuding to getting towards that, sublime reality of being around like minds, opposed to just being around people that you are born around? Like, you are born around, raised around, you comfortable around, but then when it comes to your truth, you're not able to express it with them because they are triggered in such a way that they will get angry, they will get upset with you. So, you know, it's not a it's a real thing, uh you don't have to continuously subject yourself to situations that you don't like, and because of that, your empath, or your life of empathy is thrown off. So, since today is ruled by Mercury and we're dealing with the level of empathy, this level of empathy is more on a financial side or more on a business side. So if it touches you, or if it impacts you, or if it resonates with you, then this is how you kind of swing into this new moon, or this new moon energy, with how to be successful in your business. Right? You want to be successful in your business, and you don't actually have to own a business to be talking about your business. Even if you have a job, that is your business. That's how you bring in more money and things of that nature. So, how to be successful when it comes to your empathy. And I don't necessarily know if anybody has ever really thought about this, or do they just simply say, I want to be successful. I just want to be successful. So I'm going to just want to be successful, and I'm going to just keep grinding and keep hustling and keep working and da 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 da, and just keep going and going and going and going and going. Empathy allows us to take a step back and really use our mind, use our emotions, and use our actions in a way to get the results that we want. And so I'm taking this actually from Daniel Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence. If you haven't read that book, you're dealing with a particular paradigm that doesn't serve you. Um, Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence book is a paradigm shifter because it teaches you how to use your emotions like your brain. And once you understand that your emotions are 1,000 times more powerful than your brain, then you it's silly to be thinking about shit all the time when you have a whole feeling self that feels. And even, it's not a level of being lazy, but it's just a level of just having a deep knowing and a deep understanding. So, I just want to speak on these levels of empathy and probably give people maybe you feel yourself as an empath, but you don't actually know what to do about it because you're so caught up in your subjective reality. So the idea with all of these changes, Mercury and Uranus are trine. So all of this energy is rising up so you can kind of make changes in how you're processing stuff. So you're not thinking on a level of, mind power, but you're actually thinking on the level of having emotional power. And if you're not cognizant, or what I'm saying is like, I don't understand nothing of what you're saying right now, you really need to get the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman and just give it a read. It's free on the internet. It's literally millions of videos, millions of think pieces about it. It's like a famous book, so you should check it out. So yeah, so we're dealing with the level of cognitive empathy. And cognitive empathy is the to understand why people think that way without being triggered. So I understand why people think the way that they think, and I just poke holes in it all day, and people get mad at me on social media. But I'm literally just giving everybody a fair shot. Like it don't matter. Like people, I can say something about a certain group of people, or like just like why do people think this way? And then people get mad at me for asking the question. But ultimately, what I'm realizing is that it's never really about me, because I could just be sitting here right next to my wife or whatever, and people just be like, "You probably be out here fucking all these girls," and da 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 da. And I'm just like, you really projecting on me what you think that I am, and I'm not really. It's just social media. But cognitive empathy is understanding people's perspective at all times. And the thing about the internet is that there are so many perspectives that a lot of people will sit and laugh at what you say, and then a lot of people will get really mad at what you say, and then a lot of people don't understand a lot of what you say, and then a lot of people is don't understand, and they can only mirror or imitate what the next person is doing. So it's like a lot of this energy is rounded up in a whole bunch of people that don't know themselves, and they're looking for idols. And when you don't present yourself as an idol to them, they feel like it's something wrong with you. So therefore, it's really important to understand the theory of the mind, or understand why people think the way that they think if you want to be successful. I say all of this to say is that if you really think that people want to be your friend, or people really like you and things of that nature, for one, they don't even know you, and they're only projecting themselves onto you at all times. It never is a point where people actually can understand you, because they don't know you. So it's like understanding empathy, understanding that it's a whole level of conversation that goes on between two people without the words being said. There's an actual mental and emotional game that if you could tap into that, then by default you're successful. There's a reason why things are set up the way that they're set up. They're not set up that way because it makes sense. It's set up that way to kind of trigger your emotions, to deal with you on certain levels, like different colors and different things like that. All of that shit really matters when it comes to selling to people, or when it comes to triggering. Or another thing that I noticed about being really successful is that you gotta kind of piss people off. Like you gotta kind of be a polarizing figure a lot of times, and then a lot of people who want to be successful don't understand that they gotta come and be a little brazy, little kind of little raw. Gotta kind of piss people off, or else they're not gonna really respond to you. So it could be a lot of love and light, but that's not gonna get you to where you need to get to. Still dealing with Mercury and Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus being that of a dark constellation, or ancient constellation that's about that action. So, you can't be afraid of the physical contact, or whatever contacts that come about with bringing about a success for yourself. So, and then ultimately, once you do pick up on things that people are feeling, or you do your research and you understand, okay, people need this, then that's when you respond, and that's how this is why you're empathetic. Generally, if you feel levels of empathy, they're not for you to shield yourself from the world. If you feeling all of this stuff, and people is projecting all of this stuff, and you all of these things are happening, it's not for you to then go into your room and then lock the door and cry in your pillow. You're empathic because you can sense what people are feeling, and you need to develop a level of compassion to respond. But if you too hurt, you're not going to be able to respond. And when you think of a level of feeling other people's pain, you got to first and foremost feel your pain and do something about your pain. Like that's the first one. And then from there, you know, you expand and you grow, and you have this successful business, and you're psychologically sound, and nothing can stop you but yourself. So very important to understand. Ophiuchus is the fully realized woman or feminine power, both male and female. Ophiuchus exhibits the complete spectrum of the female archetype, one who can display strength and persistence as well as accepted female attributes. The Ophiuchus is the ancient incarnation of woman, the symbol of birth and death, and not just highly restricted roles that women are allowed to play in modern times. Ophiuchus's world does not revolve around men having babies, fitting in, sexuality, or the family. Ophiuchus is the center of such experiences, but she's independent, her own person, in her own right. So, you know, that's taken from the book of Ophiuchus, and even more so, Ophiuchus as a star system in ancient Egyptian astrology, you can find is Nephthys or Nephthys, and it just more or less speaks to the energy, doubles down on the energy as we move into this solar eclipse, where we're somehow throughout these days dealing with all of these ancient hidden goddesses and things of that nature. And my wife could literally bear witness. I had a dream that revealed to me the hidden path. And lo and behold, I'm studying the astrology and I'm learning about Nephthys, the hidden or veiled one who serves as a medium between the worlds. And so when I say that I'm connected to these worlds, I really don't want nobody to like pat me on the back or tell nobody or nothing like that, because this shit is scary. Dealing with your dreams and journaling your dreams, and then a lot of things that was happening, like, you know, in my dream, it was a very long and drawn out dream, but one thing that happened is that these two little kids, they came and they wanted 2 quarters, and I gave them 2 quarters, which I didn't even tell my wife this yet, but it don't mean shit to y'all for me to give kids 2 quarters, other than the fact that my wife been saying for all year about how she been finding 2 quarters. Like, she's literally made it a point to be like, no, like, I always find 2 quarters, Kyrie, like 2 quarters. And I'm just like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the hell that mean, but then I'll have a dream. Right, 2 quarters. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's an energy that we need to research or we need to understand, because she doesn't have to constantly tell me about these damn 2 quarters. She could be talking about anything. You know what I'm saying? And leave an impact on me. And then I find like, okay, we need to figure out what these two little boys are energetically or spiritually and do our research, because they are present in our lives, because they leave messages and they let us know. And so when it comes to dealing with this goddess energy and this ancient goddess energy, please believe that nobody is talking about it, nobody is speaking to it. And if you want to deal with like what they're afraid of this goddess energy. If you look back in Marvel from Thor 2 Ragnarok, the goddess death, and then in the movie I was watching last night, the Avengers, where there was where a lot of it was about um Thanos, and really who Thanos is married to, or his wife, or the Thanos ain't the boss. Thanos is actually taking orders from the ancient goddess, and I'm sure we'll see this in the next Marvel movie. But if you read the comics, you know that Thanos is still acting out like he's a goon. He ain't the boss. He ain't the bad man for real. The real bad man is the woman. And so it's all about Medusa or the Gorgon, and all of this energy is coming online. And they are literally talking about your energy coming online, and they are afraid of it. It's very beautiful, but it makes people go crazy. But, you know, am I talking to you, about you, or about somebody else would be the question. Am I talking about your energy, or is people's energy rising? Is that what scares you? You know what I'm saying? And People's energy rising does not scare me. You know, life and death does not scare me because I've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt and the ticket. So therefore, we're at a level of rebirth and a rebirth of understanding our ancient goddess energy that nobody is talking about. So don't credit nobody online. Don't look up nobody on YouTube when trying to discover this energy because you won't really find nothing. The only way that you'll find this energy is deep within your heart. Period. There is a goddess that rests within your heart that's coming online and it is trying to deal with you. Now, if you on YouTube every 10 minutes, if you on Facebook, if you trying to talk to people, you trying to get married, you trying to start a business, you trying to do all of this shit, but deal with the goddess in your heart and developing a relationship with the hidden goddess of your heart, you're missing out. You're missing out. So, anybody got any questions? But nah, that was my presentation for um January 2nd, 2019. And yeah, exactly. The energy has been strategically oppressed, and the powers that be and the elites know that this energy is coming online, and there's nothing that they can do about it. In every, if you watch the Avengers, and it's a part where Doctor Strange, he's going through every scenario, right? Of the possibilities of their demise, and he's like, I can find one. And he literally is only one way that they could trick you out of this shit, and that's through the movies. That's the only way. And it is literally like, I don't like, it's deep to me as I say it, but I hope that I'm does that make sense, or do I need to explain it more when he says that there's only one way, and we're literally watching the movie, meaning that that's the only way that, yeah, that they could really follow to stay alive through the movies, through the archetypes of, this beautiful blonde actress or actor that saves the world. That's the only way. Other than that, the energy is how do you tap into the energy, realize the inner goddess of your heart? You simply do. Like, it's really no real, you could do your research on it. Look up Neptes, look up Moot and things of that nature, and study it, and realize that these ancient goddesses are not in the star somewhere. They're really in your heart, and really use your visualization and in tune and actually deal with that. It's really, I talked about it yesterday with the universe card by in the Thoth Tarot deck. Really speaks to this energy really well. But it really takes your understanding and your visualization, or just to simply say that I'm tapped into my inner goddess. You can literally feel her and understand. Well, as I'm talking, I guess I'll do a guided meditation to the inner goddess or the divine goddess in your heart for this new moon solar eclipse. So that'll be a way that could possibly help you, Shia. But it's definitely a level of meditation and visualization that's required. Similar. I mean, mind reading. If you don't really, well, mind reading is like, let me see. You could mind read a little child and be like, "Oh, I can tell you want some cookies," or something like that. But to be empathic with a child is to tell, like, when that child needs a hug, or that child just needs to go out, or you can just sense what that child is feeling. Or when your kids walk in and they had a bad day at school, and you be like, "Damn, what's wrong with you?" And they be like, "Nothing." And they fucking slam the door and just stomp up the stairs and go into their room and shut the door. And you like, Okay, as a parent, you like, okay, obviously something happened and obviously he don't want to tell me. So obviously that's a level of empathy, but to mind read is to be like, he walk in the door or whatever and you know exactly what happened, and that's kind of like, does anybody mind read or whatever? Like, does anybody know exactly what's going on in a person's head? I know sometimes me and my wife do. Like, she can pick up on my thoughts, I can pick up on her thoughts, but we have a connection though. We have a bond that allows that transformation. Right. The notes is Google keep Keep. Peace to everybody on the live. Peace to everybody. Peace to everybody. Indeed. Like my little baby, I be knowing what he be thinking. Cause he like, it's crazy. Like, I can sense what he's thinking. Like, I don't know. Like, but then like when I hold him, I can feel myself when I hold them. Like, I've always felt that sense with my kids, but at least on a physical level and on a mental level, that is nothing but my wife and my DNA put together. And so therefore I can hold my son in the same way that I hold my wife, or he smells like my wife, or he smells like me. It's just, it is us and a little baby, so it's never gonna be something real far out to where it's like we don't understand or we don't sense. Like, everything is highly sensory when you deal with the family dynamic. If there's love there, yeah, I did say Neptese. Neptese is really something that you want to look into, something that you want to understand as we approach this solar eclipse. If you don't understand it, indeed, yeah, research, and look at it as a level of, you know, esotericism that's really available for you, or maybe something that all of the scholars maybe forgot and they overlooked. But now, as you deal with the information presently, that Neptese energy, that Moot energy, that, triple goddess energy is online right now and it's available to help the souls, really grow. Of course, they were trying to confuse us with the messaging because, therefore, like, we naturally root for the heroes. But if you look at all the fight scenes, if you really pay attention, like at the beginning of the movie, those superheroes were like in front of churches or something that had to do with religious figures. So when you think of the Avengers, like, who are they avenging? Who are they fighting for? They're fighting for religion in the establishment and everything that holds us down. Like, they are the Avengers, they are the superheroes. And so to see them get their ass whooped, it's like, who would have it against the Avengers to, like, literally whip their ass? Like, it literally was nothing that they could do when they was faced with this energy, or they was faced with this force. And so since they was faced with this force, they got their ass whooped. That was one thing. And then the second thing was, um train of thought. Oh, since they got their ass whooped, they had to create something in the theatrics or in the movie to keep us interested. Like, we shouldn't go see Avengers Part 2 because they got their ass whooped. But, since Yeah, something just happened. Boom, 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 boom. Now we get a part two, and it's just like I for sure seen y'all get y'all ass whooped. I for sure seen y'all have no recourse. Like there was nothing y'all could do with this force. But but when Doctor Strange, he's doing the calculations. He's like sitting there going, trying to see how they could win against his enemy. He's like, I literally have one way, and so this is the one way that we could defeat them or whatever, or how we could like stand or whatever. And they call it the end game. And so the end game is definitely something that's taking place in the minds of people, because of course we can have a conversation on the backdrop or the shit that they're trying to put down, but that don't really mean shit because 100 million people plus is going to watch this movie and be down for everything that's going down for it, and they ain't going to use their mind to decode shit. So, you know, even though I'm saying what I'm saying, it still goes without saying that it's still going to be a level of mind control. So that's the only way that they was able to get this shit off. Even when it comes to your energy and movies that highlight your energy, they're going to be very, 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 very successful. So just pay attention to what movie is popping. And it might not have nothing to do with black people or nothing to do with nothing, or just like it could be the most randomest shit like Bird Box. But the fact of it being so popular is something that is within these messages that are codes into your energy. But if you're going to pay attention to it, pay attention to it. If not, then it is what it is. Yeah, Kali Ma, Ma Terra, like that ancient goddess energy that will cut your head up is coming online, and you don't even gotta be a bad person. You know, a lot of it is just the energy that rests within inside of you that just scares people. Yeah, energy doesn't attract energy vampires. You literally be staying in the same spot dealing with the same people who don't make you feel good, and you're not strong enough to cut them off. Um Person can only steal from you what you let them or what you give access to. And you know, if I'm gonna have sex with a person without fully getting to know that person, then I have to deal with whatever consequences come out of that. If I'm gonna spend time with a person without knowing his psychology or knowing her psychology and things of that nature, and I'm just so like feeling like I have to kick it with you, and then after I kick it with you, I'm gonna call you an energy vampire. No, no, can't do that. You have all the free will in the world to deal with people, to get to know people, to take your time with people, to not believe in shit that they say. Ugh, people lie, you know, all types of things that, you know, an energy vampire is a cop out to you not dealing with your power. Um, but that's just me. I know people gonna be like, "Well, no, I had somebody that was a straight up energy vampire," and I'm like, "Did you leave?" No. Okay, then the fuck. What are we even talking about? I mean, I factor in the Nishaka the transits, and I deal with the planets on a sidereal level. Tropical planets are I'm not in that area, so therefore, I like to deal with the stars from my perspective. Hopefully, I can get some time to see astrology from all angles. But you know, um, with understanding Vedic charts, I don't really deal with Vedic charts. I look at Vedic astrology the same way I look at Western astrology, just a system for us to understand it. But once we understand that system, we need to start really dealing with the stars and their actual locations and things of that nature. If you're just learning astrology, it's cool to chart. Like I charted for 15 years, and just recently I'm not really focusing on the charts and I'm looking at the astrology and pricing out a telescope and things of that nature. Like I'm just into that type of shit now, where I just want to look at the stars and reflect on the stars, and from that I get great insight and I get great divinity and sovereignty, and I realize that nobody can take that connection away from me, and we can all bear witness to the stars in the sky. So therefore, that to me is something to really get into. I will always overshare though. Rather I'm undersharing or oversharing. I just think that once you easily into what you say, and when I say things, I really don't give a fuck how people really feel about what I'm saying, because I say too much and it's like, I give people the space to not like me. I give people the opportunity to say, you know what, I really don't like him. Therefore, I could only focus on people who understand me at an energetic level. And maybe people look at me like, well, he's too dark, or, he's not my type, or all this other shit. And it's like, please go. So it's like, I really want to deal with people on a spiritual level as opposed as a physical level. And in that space, there is no such thing as oversharing, because it's all learning and information. And so it's like, you just want to find your tribe, man, Disa, and find people that want to hear what you have to say, and they will listen. And there's no such thing as oversharing. There's people that talk on YouTube and shit like 5 hours a day, and it's people that just talk, 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 because there's so much to learn. It's so much to learn in the world, and you should never feel like you're oversharing. You should never feel uncomfortable for sharing. Like, sharing is good. Yeah, I've seen Ready Player One. I live in Columbus, um, and I feel like that movie was about me. The note info is to email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com and download the app Google Keep on your phone. Google Keep, and I will add you to the notes, and you will have to be responsible to check the notes daily after we go live, and I'll update the notes after this video. And I did say that I will clean out the notes when they get full. It takes a while, so it's not gonna be something that I do a lot. But once they do get full, once I can't add no more to the note, I'll just delete it and just start a whole note over again. But I'll just keep everybody added to that same note, so it's gonna be updated daily. Very, very good. So, do you resonate with your Vedic natal more than your tropical natal? Um, yeah, that's a good question. Um, I think the mind is a powerful thing. I think the mind could take and accept ideas and think that it really embodies them, and you could be so off. Where I think that I'm so Virgo, but my side real is in Leo, and I hate Leos. So therefore, I could be a lot more Leo than Virgo, but since I've read so much on Virgo, I could kind of be like, well, fuck that. I'm a Virgo and I ain't no Leo. And but the reality of me, if I was to be completely objective and real, I would be way more Leo than I am Virgo, because ain't nothing clean about me but my draws, and that's you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like I'm not this Virgo, clean, nitpicking, everything gotta be perfect person. I'm more of a studier. I'm not objective. I don't criticize people. I'm not like critiquing my reality. I'm not critiquing shit. I'm just completely in my mind and my study. So yeah, I'm probably more of a I'm more of a Leo than a Virgo, and that's way more accurate than me to say, "Oh, you a Leo, you want everything perfect and da 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 da." Like that's not me. So I don't think I've really been that real with myself. So yeah, I'm probably more of a Leo than a Virgo. Side real is more accurate than Western astrology. I can admit that. What's what's going on? So I guess that I don't see any more questions. Once again, hit me up at hoodmystic@gmail.com. If you do have questions or you develop questions throughout the day, I'll be back tomorrow with more question and answers. Just something I like to do at the end of these videos, Wednesdays and Thursdays. They're actually a lot of fun, and maybe you can ask my wife a question. I like any question, whether it's personal, whether it's esoteric, whether it's psychological, anything to that effect, or if it's about the video, just giving people a chance to ask questions, because generally I've noticed that in 2018 people had opinions without asking questions. So I don't, maybe it was my fault because I never gave people an opportunity to ask questions, that they created these opinions. So, moving into 2019, don't don't have opinions about stuff that you never really asked about, because you could be completely wrong, and you just need some more insight and things of that nature, and more context to fully understand what a person is trying to do or what a person is trying to build. So with that being said, family, I want to I want to definitely. It's something that I started with this year with the bird box, and that's kind of where I started with this YouTube. A lot of things got popping once I started doing movie reviews. So I think I'm about to go see a movie today. Oh yeah, what I am about to do today is definitely go to the mounds and ground. I don't know if anybody is in Ohio or in the Columbus area. I'm gonna be headed to the Octagon Earthworks, and then I'm gonna be headed to the Newark Earthworks today. To really give thanks, to give offerings. I literally was told by Spirit to go there. I was told to go there yesterday, but it was too late. So I'm gonna go there today and just give thanks and give offerings to the ancient American gods and goddesses that need some attention to, that nobody pays attention to. So if you don't have anything to do today and you're in the Columbus area, you're feel free to join me. But other than that, that's what I'm gonna do today. Hoodmystic@gmail.com if you're interested in the notes. Just send me a message and say I want to get added to the notes, and I'll add you. Well, with that being said, family, I hope everybody has a blessed day. Be sure to hit me up at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Make sure to get out and do something spiritual. Make sure to leave your mark on the world, because your mark is very unique and is very needed on the planet. So we need you to get over whatever you going through and tap in right now. You tapping in is very important. So hit me up if you need any instructions, or if anything is difficult for you tapping into your soul, because it's so necessary. So ask me about it, or ask people about it, but get into it, man. Peace and love. I'll see you guys tomorrow.